So, welcome Torun, dear colleagues and students, participants and ambassadors of the intensive program DICETE. It's my great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you here after the long journeys that you've made from Finland, France and Spain, but also after the long journey that we have all made together. This journey started in March 2013, when our ideas started to take shape and when we collaborated for the first time to create the foundations for this ambitious project and the intercultural development of European teachers of English.
Marta, Yuho, Joanna, Silvia, Anna, Lo, and my name is Lara.
And then also another music player. We just wanted to include Pelle Miljoona here for his hairstyle and perhaps demeanor.
Yes.
You can spot these kind of people a lot in like people that look different than
Tips, but we're going to talk about it later, tomorrow, yeah. And we are happy in Angers, and we love our city, and it's very diverse. I mean, we have a lot of museums, and about art, it's very important. We have a castle, and it's very beautiful. And so we are going to introduce France, but just before, we have the idea to make this kind of video just for this program, so why not during these 2 weeks? If you agree, we can, yeah.
We say that Spain is ruled by King Juan Carlos I, and we just heard that he abdicated today. Viva la República! So, here it comes.
Basque nationalists. Catalan.
So we have tried to prepare this presentation in a way, in a little, like, the most exciting way possible, not to make you really bored. I don't know whether we really managed, but that's why we decided to skip much text and just show you some Poland pictures, just to give you a glimpse. And for some people who still maybe are not sure where they are, we are in this white and red spot in the middle of the map of Europe. That's a pretty funny location, I need to admit, because we are really precisely in the middle. That's why we have this joke, because we are neither Western country nor Eastern one, and we keep joking that we have Western prices, but Eastern earnings. So
I'm supposed to introduce the concept of intercultural competence, so this is going to be like an introduction. So you have an outline for this presentation here, so I would like to start with a definition of culture. All right, so if you think of culture, what comes to your mind? Come on, any associations perhaps? Any key words that come to your mind?
Identity.
Okay, identity, what else?
In Spain we have this difference between the culture with the major C and minor C. The major C is like paintings, sculptures, literature and so on. And then with minor C is something like the traditions and customs of our.
Okay, so you are talking about this traditional, let's say, difference between so-called low and high culture. Good.
If you listened, well, to some parts of the lecture, maybe you know the trick behind each question, but we are not telling you how to interpret the question yet. The first task is, I hope, easy, like introductory task. Please, in your international groups, look at the questions, look at the results of the questionnaire, and just decide which of them are interesting to you.
and why?
By the way, if you don't remember why you answered in a particular way, very good, because that's what we don't want you to remember. That's why the questionnaire was distributed to you, was sent to you in March.
It's like the French and maybe at the end you can
Tomorrow, not today. So now let's go and enjoy our lunch, but could I please ask all of us to be back in this room at 2:30.
And the icebreaker that I've come up with for this happening is actually one of these larger icebreakers that goes rather slow. So I'm going to give you the task today, and I want it finished on Friday. We're taking bits of foil and creating something with it. You might want to make a figure like an animal or a boat or a building, or just use your imagination. And because it's group work, it's important that you pop in and do something. So we'll begin now with the presentations, which are about stereotypes. And I said you have pretty much a free hand to do them in any way you want to do them. Person A speaking. And this is person B speaking, and person A and person B. And this is, let's call this the American stereotype of turn-taking. I'm speaking with my sister, and I'm saying something, and she starts speaking before I've finished my sentence. It's called overlapping. And then I start speaking before she finishes her sentence, and she starts speaking before I finish my sentence, because we don't like silence. Overlap, overlap, overlap. Sounds familiar? Okay, then take another stereotype, and we'll call this a real stereotype of the Finn, who speaks but doesn't necessarily overlap. They want to have a bit of silence in between the turn-taking.
Brains. Okay. You know, we have, Chanel, Dior, and a lot of people associated us to this brains. Yeah. And to finish, I know the French kiss. I think, and that's all.
My name's Juho. And I'm Antti. We're going to begin with the Finnish stereotypes. So this is based on a very lively conversation yesterday. First of all, Finnish people are supposed to be shy and reserved, and very slow to build up trust. We may seem distant initially when we meet new people, but then we get drunk and the threshold goes down.
Without limits, yes? So for us there is no thing that we cannot do actually, yes?
Without Christina, the relationship between Juan Antonio and Maria Elena had gone back to its old destructiveness.
Eso afecta a mi trabajo, ¿entiendes, Valeria?
As you can see, when we think about your country, we can see a person with blonde hair, with blue eyes, and of course with quite pale skin. So the minimum of talk, the maximum of talk. Yes. You're very introverted. As you can see, even spending some free time in sauna, there is no need to talk with your friends. Yes? For example, our case is that you can stand in front of the lights in the street, yes, and you don't want to cross the road, even if you can see a red light and there is no car in the street, yes. You just wait for the green light, yes. So you're very, very. Is that true? Yes, is it true? Yes, that's right. And do you agree with this? Yes. Yeah, I think that this impossibility to speak English and French regularly worries us. You
can see, we don't have the right to tell anybody that you cannot speak foreign languages because we can't. But according to the information we read on the internet, not a very big percentage of Polish population can speak foreign languages, at least fluently. But we also know that this trend is changing, that now foreign languages are becoming more and more popular.
Tomorrow we will have a chance to try to speak.
Yeah, perfect, great. Then,
what I want you to do in your group is think about stereotypes. And then I want you in your group to decide how can you creatively overcome the tendency to stick to a stereotype, a conception of another country. So, for instance, what I'm thinking is my stereotype of Finnish people being silent, how can I creatively overcome this, is by being more aware of the turn-taking situations like I spoke about.
Not like engage in conversation, although we can do that, and I've been like kind of consciously.
Having come from a country of immigrants, but my name is Watson, and I have a very long history that dates back to one of the original convicts that came to Australia in 1796. So I'm about as Australian as you can get. And so I was never part of the immigrant culture back in Australia. They were around me all the time. 1 in 3 people in Australia has not been born in Australia. So there's a very large immigration policy in Australia, and a very large number of immigrants make up our population. But I was always external to that.
Very good.
So, like, do we answer like together?
One copy each.
Maybe, okay.
This group here in front of me. Define a bilingual. What is a bilingual?
What is a bilingual? Well, a bilingual person is a person who can communicate in 2 languages, or at least 2 languages. Like
2 or more languages.
Yeah.
We could say, when I say bilingualism, we could say bilingualism or multilingualism. Okay.
Yeah, basically you can communicate, you can understand it, you can use the language, you can basically be understood in that language. And
This is self-explanatory.
It's like a joke you should never explain.
Yes. You just look at it and like feel something, or then you're dead inside.
Play spin the bottle, and this lands on you, and I have to truth or dare. Then you have to tell something like maybe a bit embarrassing, or some secret. Yeah, something that's true.
And we thought that maybe we could start the day simply by standing and remaining silent for a short time, don't worry, a short time, just to reflect on the stupidity that can arise from a total absence of intercultural competence. So those who wish, I invite you to stand for just a short reflection. Okay, so teachers are in the same group. What we're going to do in this step 2 is exchange, thanks to the presentations that you're prepared, on how the teacher training system works in your own country. And we decided to do it in these small groups so that you could immediately have the opportunity to ask questions and maybe start giving opinions.
Yes, in public institutions.
Yes,
that's it. Okay. If you have like a teaching practice, if you have this course,
I'm moving here right now.
methodology courses, etc. So you know how to teach. Then you can teach, and that's all. But don't you have to specialize in English before?
No, because it's already just, you know, English philology, English study in general.
Yes,
so
we are talking
literature,
about
culture, everything.
Okay.
Plus.
But I don't know the kind of question.
30 minutes, no, sorry, 30 to 45 minutes to try and synthesize, to bring together your conclusions, your statements about these different teacher training systems that you've been talking about.
Whatever, they work maybe 1 hour, and I work at the airport as a civil servant there. They get there at around 7:30. They pass the card and they go to the cafe that is very cheaper for them. And they stay there until 9:30 more or less, 2 hours having coffee. Later they come back, they are at the office around 1 hour and a half. At 11 o'clock they go away to the having another coffee.
They claim they know what like there is more.
Yeah.
Maybe because they are working.
Like instead of writing down the evaluation, you can write
creating a module common to all European universities, and this would be a unified package that would help bring about standardization and also standardized evaluation, because even in our own countries there are no rules for evaluation, standard evaluation, and each teacher has his or her standards, and it's very difficult sometimes to find like a common point.
In the case of Finland, we like the fact that the process of the teacher training is complex, but at the same time it compensates and it's very complete. So future teachers turn out and their studies and they're very, very well formed, or yeah. There's the number of teaching practice hours is very, very high, and that's fantastic. It's like 600, yeah. And Spain is like, I don't know, 2 minutes, really.
Okay, I'm really sorry that both of us have to leave. It was already in the plan beforehand, so it's not like a surprise to us, but maybe it's a surprise to you. But we've enjoyed it very, very much, and we really hope that you can continue to put all of this energy into next week also, when Ritva Kantelinen from our university will be joining you, and I'm sure you will make her very welcome, and I'm really grateful to the staff and to the Polish students who have made us so welcomed. And
why teachers were interested.
What's the point when you mentioned like unifying factors with brackets, like what we said about
like a
music, here? Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, let's go to the slide. And so we were talking about a little more like a practical module, and we came up with documentaries and videos, and we're talking about, well, anything from like 5 minutes to like 90 minutes. And especially nowadays with the internet, and I would say especially in the European context, all teacher training students like having access to the internet. I mean, sharing these kinds of videos would be really easy.
Thank you very much. And now over to back to work, and over to our Spanish teachers.
Let me tell you something. Let me shout something. Most stanzas or choruses have 4 lines in them. Yeah. I gave it to Terence because I said there's one person. A shortened version of this class. I've given interviews to students. Yeah. We've interviewed primary school students, also junior high students and high school students. So the interviews are there, the full interviews, the full classes are there, and also the edited shorter versions that we're going to watch here today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow.
Teacher-centric approach. Yes.
Teacher-centered approach. Yeah. Not enough time to explain things carefully. Yeah. Is that what we need? Okay. Any other buttons from that group? Okay. So the next group is here.
So the good behavior and nice atmosphere.
Good behavior on the part of the teacher.
Yeah, the students, of course. But I mean, the students knew that someone was recording them, so it's kind of unfair.
So let's start. Is there any volunteer or shall we go?
And we also found that in the French and the Spanish book, English is all over the book, and neither Spanish nor French are used as well.
So you find that positive? That is,
yeah. And then as a negative, we found that in all of them there was some kind of stereotype represented. Like for instance, a black basketball player.
How physical education subjects is taught in the UK. So there are no stereotypes, it's just facts. And they can compare the culture, how they teach physical education in the UK and in Spain. So I think that's good.
And about the pros, we found out we found out the fact that there were no grammar on the books, so to explain the rules, there was a lack of grammar, and a lot of glossary to explain the terms, and
something. Can anyone remember? Spotlight, yeah, Spotlight. That's a really good series. I think it has like more varied content all around, more everything, like all the exercises and mentions of not only like nationalities and ethnicities, but also pop culture. Presentations are more varied.
The groups for tomorrow's visits have been uploaded, so you know your schools and you know your dates. And it's up to you how you arrange the meeting, if you want to meet in front of the door or if you want to meet in the city center.
Where's the upload?
Maybe
We're trying to be very neutral, very like tiptoe around the matter instead of actually addressing it directly. This was present in the vocational book. It only showed like very neutral business type of language. Never mentioned anything related to other culture than that of business. Just like how to send neutral emails, how to
in the perspectives of Poland. The observations we've been having in the schools proves generally that the issues of interculturality are quite highly used by teachers. They focus more on not only on the countries of target languages like the UK and the US or like South Africa, but they also do bring examples from other countries like cases of India, Germany, and bring some cultural aspects from those.
I think that you pay attention to also many other things than intercultural issues. Do you agree with me? So you have all the time very wide perspective to all kinds of basic things that are connected to language education.
So the first...
Tommy, you've just destroyed my theory. This is group one. Let's go group one.
Sorry, in the movies, every hotel has a monument right outside your window. My hotel rooms overlook the garbage dumpsters in the back alley. So anybody guess what we're going to talk about today? Bearing in mind what we have done the previous week. Kasha?
The Eiffel Tower?
Maybe the Eiffel Tower.
Countries?
Yes, countries.
Traveling.
Yeah. Traveling. Vida?
Hotels.
Yes, well done, hotels. Has anybody stayed at a hotel before? Oscar, have you been to a hotel? What was it like?
Yes, but it is possible that somewhere in other countries the weather is different. It's not like everywhere the weather is same, sunny and clouds like we do. We are lucky to have a sun today. But let's see the forecast. A weather news. How is the weather around the world? And you have to listen and try to remember the cities and countries and the weather, what they have.
Guys, how are you doing today?
Fine.
How's the week going? Ready for the weekend?
Yes.
Okay. So today's lesson is going to be about food. Okay? You just had lunch, so it's okay. You won't get hungry. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to work in groups of 3 and 1 group of 4 because we're 10 people. So maybe you can move your chairs around and be like, you 3, right? Rosalia with them. Okay. And
I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did.
Yeah, very good. Another greeting. The high five? Yeah, the high five. Another one? What? Yeah, handshaking. Very good. Now, why do you think these people in the video acted the way they did?
Did you notice the signs were in English? Because in India, people speak English and many different Indian dialects. That's very interesting. Okay, so,
yeah, for instance, yeah. Can you notice many differences between this market and a market in France, for instance?
Yes, there is a lot of traffic and there is a lot of people. It's very noisy. Yeah, that's all.
For the creation
gets the most funny selfie taken? Any ideas who that might be? Polish student remains silent because they already know. Any ideas? So, let it be my uttermost pleasure to give the award for the most beautiful DICETE photo session award to...
We're going to sing a little song, and this is to show our utmost appreciation for our lovely hosts who have been through so much trouble, have been so hardworking, and I think this goes for all of us, that we really want to show you how much we appreciate your effort put into this course. And we're thinking of a proper gift. Well, I think a song composed by our national composer could do the trick. So this Finlandia hymn. And
materialistic person, so to me things are something that break or get lost, like when I move around or something. So what I will be bringing back home, and wherever home is, because I move around a lot. So I will be bringing back the feeling of nostalgia. So whenever I go to Spain, when I hear Spanish spoken, whenever I go to France, and when I hear French spoken, whenever I think about even Poland or Toron, I will get a sort of a feeling of home. So that's what I'm going to do.
Now we're going to present you with your certificates, and the famous four: Finland, France, Poland and Spain. That's alphabetical order for you. So my colleagues are going to call you out, and we'd like you to come up and collect your certificates with pride.
publicity for our organizers, without whom
Wave.